I'm Nate Eaton with EastIdahoNews.com. Election Day is coming up on November 3rd, and we think it's important for all of us to be involved in our community. Behind this door are candidates running for local office, and over the next few minutes, we're going to discuss some important issues with them that may impact you and your family. We invite you to leave your comments on our Facebook page and at EastIdahoNews.com, and as always, remind you to vote on November 3rd.
Welcome to EastIdahoNews.com debates. Today we have with us the Rexburg mayoral candidates. We have Christopher Mann with us and Jerry Merrill. Each will have 90 seconds in which they can respond to the questions. In conclusion, they'll have 60 seconds to give a response. So we will begin with Jerry. Jerry, the first question. In Idaho, at least 8 cities have embraced a non-discrimination ordinance. Rexburg has not enacted one at this time. If you were mayor, would you work to have a non-discrimination ordinance regarding LGBT passed in Rexburg?
You know, Mark, thank you for that question. I don't believe that we would look at doing anything specific right now. If I understand correctly, the federal government has laws that against discrimination, and I think that those laws should definitely be followed. I think that we can be a caring and kind, loving community towards all people, accept them for who they are and what they can become, without necessarily passing ordinances. And so I think that's the position that I would take on that issue.
Thank you. Christopher.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark, for sponsoring this. As Jerry was saying, 8 cities in Idaho have enacted that ordinance. I don't think Rexburg needs to enact that ordinance. We've had no complaints come to our city. I think that we want to be an embracing, open city, and if we were having problems, maybe that's something we would have to look at. But right now, I see no need to go in that direction, and I don't think we will be going in that direction.
Thank you. Second question goes to Christopher.
Yes.
Economic growth is vital to every city. What would you do to create an environment that would attract new business and good, high-paying jobs to the city?
Thank you so much. I have a vision for good economic development in Rexburg. I believe that we need to build on the building blocks that we've already established. We have a great university. We need to be more proactive in going out to our graduating seniors and say, hey, come start your businesses in Rexburg. Government does not create jobs, but it needs to create an environment where jobs can be created. Not only new jobs, but we need to sustain our current businesses. I believe as mayor, we need to go around and talk to our businesses and say, what can we do to help you be successful? What are the needs that you have in your business that maybe the city can help you with, or that we can go out and find the resources for you? There's not a lot of tools that the cities have to do that in Idaho, but we do have such things as the revolving loan fund, and we have our urban renewal system that can maybe help these businesses and attract them into Rexburg.
Thank you. Jerry, your thoughts?
Well, on economic development, I think we need to be very strong in showing that we are friendly to businesses. You know, I've voted almost every time an issue has come up to make the ordinances more business friendly, to reduce rules and regulations such as our sign ordinance and different things like that, to make them, you know, there's always new technologies that come about, and I believe we need to review our ordinances and make sure that we don't have old ordinances that aren't really very applicable anymore. I believe with BYU Idaho and Rexburg, we have a vast resource there that is sometimes going untapped, in fact probably largely untapped. I think we've got marketing students and faculty, we've got business people, we've got engineers, people that can help us to be able to solve a lot of the issues that we have in Rexburg, as well as take a lot of the ideas that are generated up there and turn them into new businesses. And I think we could have an incubator center that can help to match up people that have funds to invest and people that have ideas for businesses, so that they can you know, start those businesses here in, you know, in Rexburg and make it grow there and help to stimulate a lot of economic activity. I also think we need to be more aggressive in marketing our highly educated workforce to companies that are looking to relocate, because we have a fantastic workforce there that's ready to work.
All right, thank you. This question will begin with Jerry. Brigham Young University, Idaho is an intricate part of the community. However, growth of the school, new apartments, and parking are difficulties that need coordination with the city. What are your views with growth and community development?
You know, BYU Idaho is a great asset, and sometimes we get a few folks that are disgruntled and they feel like maybe it's taken over the city, but you know, people have to realize that without Rex College establishing in Rexburg years ago and being BYU Idaho now, that Rexburg would basically just be another bump in the road on the way to Yellowstone Park, really. So we just have to be grateful that BYU Idaho is there. And I think it's important for us to realize that with the apartment complexes that are being built, we want to keep as many of the students as close to campus as possible. And I think by allowing higher densities in the areas that make sense so that the students can walk and ride their bikes, it protects the other neighborhoods from having cars driving through them, so that you know, if we build out further, or if we force growth into the neighborhoods, then that's going to cause a lot more traffic in the neighborhoods and parking problems and all those kind of things. So we need to just work with the developers and make sure we get nice green space and buffering so that they fit in the neighborhoods that they're in, and we make sure that, you know, nothing infringes on each other.
Thank you. Christopher.
Thank you. Growth without infrastructure development is a recipe for disaster. And I've always thought that we need to look at the unintended consequences when sometimes we rezone properties and put things in. I'm a strong believer that the apartment complexes around the university need to provide parking for their students. I also believe that we have a 127-year history of good relationships with BYU Idaho. I've worked there for 33 years. I understand what the students bring into our community. There are new high-density apartments right across. We call it the pedestrian zone. I worked hard to help create that zone. And now in that zone, we're seeing some businesses, some brand new restaurants have opened up, and it appears to me that they're doing really well. But it's a teamwork, working together for the good of the community. Rexburg needs BYU Idaho, and BYU Idaho needs Rexburg to accomplish our mutual goals.
Thank you. All right, the fourth question. We'll begin with Christopher. As the city grows, new and improved services and programs are required. Are you willing to raise taxes to support these? If not, where would you find sufficient funding?
New growth needs to pay for itself. Often, as I talk to people at their doors, they are concerned about their taxes and their utilities and everything going up. And we do have impact fees for parks, for roads, for police, and that is a great thing to have in Rexburg. And I'm a big supporter of impact fees, so that new growth pays for itself. There is no reason to raise the tax burdens on the citizens of Rexburg for new growth. That ought to be paid for itself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry.
Yes, you know, nobody wants to pay any more taxes, and so the last thing we want to do is go in and start raising taxes and causing issues that way for people. I concur with Chris on that one. We have impact fees, and sometimes contractors or people are building new homes complain about those, but when you have an impact on our sewer system or our wastewater system or our parks, the impacts that cause those need to help pay for those, and so that's why we have impact fees in Rexburg. And I think it's a good way to go, because we build up a savings account in those impact fees. So when we need a new park or we need an upgrade to our sewer system, we have money set aside to be able to pay for those without having to raise taxes. So I believe it's a sound way to manage the city, and I think that's a good way to go. I do believe that another thing that we need to point out to people is that Madison County has one of the lowest property tax levy rates in the surrounding area, in all of the state of Idaho, in fact. So even though it does cost a little bit more to build a new building, over time, the cost to have that building there as far as property taxes go will be less. And so that makes Rexburg a great place to be.
Great. All right, this is the fifth and final question. We'll begin with Jerry. What qualities would make you the best to be mayor?
You know, I believe that I've been on the city council for 4 years, and I think 4 years is long enough for me to be able to understand the issues that we have in Rexburg, the things that need to be paid attention to, and things that we need to really move on. I also bring 35 years of business experience in which I learned to manage budgets, I learned to work with people, employees and customers, and be able to have great relationships with people. I also learned how to one of my big things that I like is to teach, train, and hold people accountable and not micromanage. You know, Ronald Reagan once said, trust and verify, and that's the management style that I really like, and that is to hire good people, train them what they need to know, and hold them accountable to do the job. And so I feel like Rexburg needs a mayor who is good at working with people and is good at listening to both sides of the issues that the citizens have without making a judgment and then being able to make a good decision. You know, they say that you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and I think, you know, we have a great city staff, we have people that are accomplished in their fields, and I think it's good to let them take care of their business and just make sure that, you know, verify that they're doing the things that they need to be doing, and things will work well if we go that way.
Thank you, Jerry. Christopher.
Thank you, Mark. I believe I am the best candidate to be mayor. For 33 years, I've worked at the university in a business setting, working with the young people and many of the community members. I've managed many people over the years. I also have spent 10 years on the city council, and I have learned to understand all the many different departments of the city. I also believe that I understand the needs of the community, the needs of our neighborhood, and the needs of the business growth. And that's why I'm a candidate for mayor at this time. I've enjoyed raising my children here, and I want to make sure that our community stays a good community. And I believe with Christopher Mann as mayor, that will happen. And if I did not think I was the best candidate, I would not be running.
All right. Now we'd like to give you both 60 seconds in a concluding statement. Christopher, we'll begin with you.
Thank you so much. If you want a mayor for Rexburg that will work hard every day to bring new retail and new business into the town, then I am that man. If you want higher paying jobs and job opportunities so our children can live in Rexburg, then I am that man to be mayor. If you want someone who will watch out for your neighborhoods and make sure that the developers are developing their properties in the proper way, with the proper infrastructure, with the right amount of parking, then I am that man for mayor. And I am asking for your vote on November 3rd, man for mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Jerry.
Thank you. I believe that why should people vote for Jerry Merrill for mayor? That's a good question. I believe that I hope people can feel the enthusiasm I have for Rexburg. I think it's a great place to live. I raised my family there. I just feel like the issues that we have of business development and growth are some of the most important things that are going to be facing us in the next year. And I believe that Rexburg needs a mayor who not only says he's in favor of business, but leads and votes that direction. I know people are concerned about their neighborhoods, and I think we need to make common sense decisions about where the density of students are so that they're not driving through our neighborhoods and complicating things that way. That will solve a lot of problems with parking, traffic, and cost of infrastructure. I think we need a mayor that has a management style that can get along with people and not be micromanaging, and I ask for your vote on November the 3rd.
I want to thank both of the candidates for your being here and being a part of this tonight. We want to thank EastIdahoNews.com in sponsoring the debate, and I want to remind the people, get out, be a part of the system, and vote. Thank you very much.